Hello guys, I'm going to talk very fast. Nika here with your daily neuro nugget. It's a tight day for me here, but I'm actually going to spoil you a little bit before we get started. Of course, we're going to be talking about Dylan because we need to talk about Dylan. Dylan Mortensen. She may be the clue to all of this. She may not. And I actually listened to a lot of you guys because you requested for me to show you my amazing teas in a glass container. No, I do not have a glass mug for tea, so I'm sacrificing myself. If you want to purchase me a glass mug that is like heat proof, you can donate if you want to my Cash App. If you want to buy me a glass mug, I'm not going to say no. And then you can send me the link to the glass mug that you want me to purchase so that I can show you the teas. Now, okay, this is very hot. I put it in a glass, just a regular glass, dandelion and wild geraniums. You can see them floating. It looks like a dirty pond, but this is so amazing, guys. I love it. I am not a doctor, by the way. If you choose to drink this stuff, that's on you. I am not going to be held responsible. You need to talk to your parents, to your doctors, to your surgeons, to your grandparents, whoever you need to talk to, because if this ends up harming you in any way, I am not going to be held responsible, okay? Do your own research, come to your own conclusions. I literally picked these from my yard. Very astringent when you drink this tea. Your mouth feels a little bit like cotton mouth, and I ate some flowers, so my mouth is already really dry. Cheers. Wild geranium is amazing for skin, for hair, for nails, for stress, decompressing, relaxation, and the dandelion is amazing for liver health. But as anything in nature, it can all harm and hurt you and unalive you potentially. So talk to your doctor. Now, let's get on with Dylan. Again, I'm going to be talking very fast. If you don't like the speed, you can change it in the upper right corner where the 3 little dots are. Make it faster, make it slower. Okay, thanks. Now, as mentioned in the PCA, Dylan gave her testimony for what allegedly took place on the night of November 13, 2022. Okay, if you guys remember, if I am remembering correctly, the original time of death was 2 to 3 a.m., but then magically shifted to 4:30 a.m. once the PCA came out. My first thought was, how convenient? How convenient. So that means that Dylan could then change her story to fit the times when the white Elantra was seen outside, right? Now, who is actually holding the current narrative? Is Dylan in control, or is LE in control, or Bethany? Let's get right into this, because if it's Dylan, because we know that the 4 beautiful human beings are no longer with us, so they can no longer speak. Dylan and Bethany were in that house per the PCA, which means what? Which means Dylan can say and do whatever she wants, right? She can say whatever happened that night, whatever suits her best. She can say if she was frozen in fear, or if she was not, or if she heard noises or voices or dogs barking, or didn't hear anything, or if she was asleep, or if she saw a suspicious individual with bushy eyebrows in a mask and opened her door multiple times and then fell asleep. She can basically say whatever we want. Why? Because we were not there. Only her and Bethany. Now, I'm very curious to see how Dylan and Bethany's testimony is going to compare. Because why? Remember, the defense had stated that Bethany may provide exculpatory evidence. So I really hope she speaks up if she does have that evidence. So we know that Dylan has come under immense scrutiny in the last several months, and people are very swayed. They're either, yes, scrutinize her, look into her, or no, how dare you? So if you are, yes, look into her, please leave a 1. If you are, leave her alone, leave a 2 down in the comments, please. I'm very curious to see your guys' thoughts. And to me, in my personal opinion, if the state wants us to believe their narrative, then Dylan needed to have made that call when the crime took place around 4 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning. A call should have been made. Why? Because the implication of waiting 8 freaking hours to call 911 is going to be questioned heavily, as it should be. So if there was a call made to 911 at the time of the crime, and LE is potentially hiding something, such as maybe ignoring the call, because we know they were supposedly called over to 1122 King Road all of the time. But if Ellie is hiding the fact that maybe there was a call made, well, then we have a whole other case. And then it ends up being even more convoluted than we think it is. So I just think it's interesting that people are defending Dylan, despite the fact that we really know nothing about her except for the very brief descriptions that she shared with LE that are in the PCA. That's bias, because you know, and I know that if it were a man in her shoes, or two men in the shoes of Dylan and Bethany, they would be in jail. They would have been in jail that day, probably. That's bias. Not to mention, failing to report a crime is a felony, people. Most states, this felony means 3 years in prison or a fine or both. So, in this case, with Dylan and Bethany, there likely would have also been a secondary charge. Because why? Because they decided to invite friends over before calling 911. Yeah. I'm going to question that. And if you have people over at a crime scene, then that leaves room for what? That leaves room for potentially tampering with evidence and disturbing the crime scene. Is that not another charge right there? If you take anything away from this very short video, because I need to get to my other job today. I'm sorry I'm talking so fast. Remember this, okay? 18 U.S. Code Statute 4, look it up, misprison a felony. Basically states that you have to report a felony, okay? Or what? Or you get 3 years of prison time and a fine and or. So yes, in my opinion, Dylan needs to be looked at. In my opinion, Dylan is holding the reins. Because why? Because she can say whatever she wants. And some people are saying she has no reason to lie, but we don't know that. We don't. So stop making assumptions. Stop making assumptions. There's a pedal there. Let me know if you've had this tea before. Oh, tomorrow's Friday. What do I have to do? Change, because I love you guys. I literally went and changed my stupid scrub top for this, because I know you guys don't want to see the silly blue scrub top every day. It's boring. I found this in my closet. The wild geraniums, I'm going to share a flaw. So I've been eating like a lot of trash, and my skin is extremely sensitive to junk food. So I had this huge pimple on my chin yesterday. It was distractingly painful. It felt like it just hurt. It was so swollen and inflamed. You can see it. Okay. And I took one of those wild geraniums, macerated it, like smashed it basically. Put it on my face, went to bed like a weirdo. And in the morning, it shrank down about 3/4. So yeah, you can still see it, but it's very astringent. I will sometimes eat those flowers on their own, and I will sometimes eat the stems too, but they're very bitter. I'm a rabbit. Nature can kill you, especially if you already have health issues. So, this is my disclaimer. Don't do what I do. Do your own research. Talk to your doctor. Those stems are very citrusy, bitter. How cool is this? Chewing is known to reduce stress. And why chew on a Dorito when you can chew on grass? All right, guys, I gotta go now. Bye.